Hi everyone, I'm Wendy, and today I'm showing you what I ate when I had company for a few days. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I eat a whole food plant-based diet, free of oil and low in salt and sugar. My friend likes to eat a vegetarian diet, but is trying vegan right now, although slightly less strictly than I do. So I'll show you some of the swaps we made so that we would both enjoy our meals together. We used some of my recipes, which will be in a playlist linked below the video, and we came up with some new recipes. Leave comments below for any of the new recipes that you might like to see me demonstrate fully in a future video. First up, on the evening my guest arrived, I made one of my favorite recipes, my curry chickpea patties. This will be included in the playlist below. These patties are great to mix up and freeze prior to cooking, and then you can just defrost a patty and bake it anytime you want. I made a fresh batch so we would have plenty on hand for leftovers. And along with that, I also roasted some little potatoes that I seasoned simply with granulated onion and garlic, some paprika, black pepper, and dried parsley. Finally, I mixed up my go-to cabbage slaw. I never measure anything with this, I just chop up a bunch of cabbage and throw on some balsamic vinegar, lemon juice, tahini, and date syrup. Like I said, this is one of my favorite meals, but sadly it was not my friend's favorite. But that was definitely on me. I ran out of time and didn't make a sauce to go with it. Sauces make any meal better, but it definitely would have helped with these patties because they're a little more dry and crumbly than a typical bean patty. In any case, they still tasted good. I just should have made a sauce to go along with it. For breakfast the next morning, we had hash browns and pancakes. These were frozen, shredded hash browns. I think we seasoned them with garlic, onion, and paprika. And we had that along with my buckwheat pancakes that I just recently shared. That recipe is also included in the playlist below. For lunch, we had leftovers of the chickpea patties, potatoes, and cabbage. Then dinner was another one of my absolute favorites. I like to call this a taco bowl or a nacho bowl. We started with a base of brown rice and topped that with my taco lentils. Then you throw on whatever toppings you want. My friend added some corn, then we made some homemade guacamole, got some salsa, my cheesy sauce, tomatoes, cilantro, lettuce, red onion, and black olives. I don't think you can ever go wrong with tacos or taco bowls, and we repeated this meal several times over the next couple days. This one ended up being both of our favorites. Check the playlist below for videos on how I make my taco salad, cheesy sauce, and taco lentils. On day 3, we had my peach pie teff porridge for breakfast. For a demonstration on how to make this, plus 2 other delicious oatmeal alternatives, you can check out the video in the playlist. Lunch was leftovers again. This time we had more taco bowls. And for dinner, we made my Instant Pot mashed potatoes. This is another recipe that'll be in the playlist, and to go along with it, we made some of Dr. McDougall's gravy. I'll put the link to that recipe below the video as well. Along with our mashed potatoes and gravy, we had veggie burgers on toast. These are a brand called Actual Veggies, and they're probably just about the healthiest processed veggie patty you can find. They're made with mostly all whole food ingredients, including sweet potato, chickpea, quinoa, various other veggies, and spices. Some of the flavors have oil, but the sweet potato patties that we got were oil-free. That day, we also made my chocolate silken tofu pie. I don't have a video showing this exact recipe, however, I have another very similar recipe of a chocolate cherry pie, which I'll include in the playlist below. Then we had oatmeal for breakfast on day 4. I just cooked up some rolled oats with blueberries, dates, cinnamon, and a little bit of cashew milk. My guest also had a piece of toast with peanut butter, and we made a green smoothie. The smoothie is just one of my go-to combinations of baby greens, banana, mango, and plant-based milk. Then for lunch that day, we created a simple ramen bowl with a peanut sauce. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to recreate this full recipe, but basically we started with some salt-free roasted peanuts and water. To that, we added some garlic, ginger, rice vinegar, and lime juice. After blending it up, it was thicker than we wanted, it didn't quite seem like enough sauce, and we wanted to add a little something sweet to the flavor. So we decided to add an orange and a tiny bit of maple syrup, and that time it was perfect. After that, the rest of the meal came together really quickly. We simply tossed some chickpeas and frozen stir-fry veggies into a pan to heat up, while we cooked some of my favorite millet and brown rice ramen noodles. Once those were done cooking, we added the noodles to the pan with the veggies and chickpeas, tossed it in the sauce, and added a pinch of red pepper flakes. We were purposely trying to keep this recipe salt-free, and we both really enjoyed it. But of course, if you wanted to make it even tastier, you could add a little bit of salt or even some miso paste or soy sauce. For dinner, we had burgers again. I had the actual veggie patties again, but my guests tried these Dr. Prager's burgers. These little patties do have oil in them, but again, they're pretty clean for a processed vegan burger. And my friend said that it was really tasty. That day, we got a little fancy and we made homemade hamburger buns to go with it. My friend really loves cooking and baking. He's used to using regular refined flour, but wanted to see how a whole wheat flour would work. Of course, when you're making bread, you have to plan ahead, so we started making the dough that morning. It was a simple dough made of whole wheat flour mixed with a little bit of rosemary and garlic. Then we activated yeast in warm water with a little bit of maple syrup. We added that to the flour along with just a splash of cashew milk, and then after kneading, we let it rise in the bowl. Once it's about doubled in size, we let it rise again after dividing it into buns, and before baking, he topped each one with a little bit of cashew milk mixed with maple syrup, and on 2 of them we added a few sesame seeds. We accidentally baked them a little too long, so they dried out just a little bit. And of course, being made of whole wheat means they're already a little denser than a regular bun, but they were still quite tasty. If we had taken them out a few minutes sooner, they would have been a little softer, but they worked great for our little vegan hamburgers. Of course, we had to have some potatoes with that, so we sliced up some russet potatoes and baked them for about 30 minutes until golden. Finally, on our last day, we started with oatmeal again. I added some chia seeds and my friend added a little scoop of peanut butter. We also had another smoothie and leftover pancakes. Lunch also included more leftovers, just a little bit of everything. My friend had another taco bowl, I had the leftover ramen noodles with peanut sauce, and we also had some leftover potatoes. We also had some more of the chocolate pie. Then for dinner, we made my Amy's black bean chili copycat recipe. That one will also be included in the playlist. We ate this chili with the extra homemade buns, a little bit of lime juice, and cilantro. Once again, this is one of my favorite recipes, but it wasn't my friend's top choice because it has a lot of tomato paste in it, which makes it pretty acidic. That can easily be fixed by adding in some kind of sweetener like date sugar or maple syrup. And I also usually serve this one over rice, and that dilutes the acidity of the tomatoes a little bit, but we didn't have time to make rice that day. And that's what I ate when I had company. As you can see, it is possible to eat with friends even if they don't eat exactly the same way as you. Of course, this was easier because my friend was already a big fan of vegetarian food and was very open to trying vegan. But even if you're eating with a meat eater, I believe you don't have to make a separate meal for everybody. Just make a few swaps. Cook the main components of the meal to fit within your vegan diet, and then let your vegetarian and omnivore friends add their meat and cheese later. Hope you enjoyed seeing what we ate. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.